Got you do? Attaboy. And a good morning to you. The man's got to do here. He's dressed up.
Breakfast of Champions.
That's it. That's it. Breakfast of Champions.
Oh.
I could make a joke, but I'm not going to.
Go ahead.
It's an old one.
It's fine.
Those men that have been put out of the family making capabilities, the snipped and clipped.
Oh, God,
If you dress up like that, if you're going to be impotent, you got to look impotent, right?
Well,
I can't do that.
Hey,
I can't do that.
Definitely impotent.
I got all the plumbing. Good morning, and good morning to you. Welcome inside the Bottom Line. Glad to have you along. About 8:15, I've got to go on a line in Baltimore, but I'm going to keep you right here, and you'll pick up the feed between us and the fan in Baltimore. And they're on live radio on 106.5, if I'm not mistaken, in Baltimore. Sometimes the language gets a little colorful. My wife gets kind of blown away by it because, you know, I said the A word on here one day,
Yes.
and she was like, "Can you say that?" I'm like, "Well, I did, and I've said it on live radio. Facebook don't count because on Facebook you gotta do what you want to do." But it's okay. It don't mean anything by it. It's just all in good fun.
And you are good fun.
Did you a couple announcements?
Yeah.
Local Maiden product is back in the head coaching ranks. Kevin Wilson is going to Tulsa, signed a 5-year deal.
Oh, great. Fantastic.
And Scott Satterfield has moved to Cincinnati.
Who's playing in the bowl game in about 10, 11
You know,
minutes.
some people said, and I know that Mike Powell hates it when these coaches move, but I really think Scott was starting to get some heat. And he was, 8-4? And got an opportunity to go
tremendous
9-4?
comeback because it started really, really unfavorably.
And not,
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, he's not a top ACC program.
No.
And when he got there, it was kind of in shambles a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I don't think Scott's a good old North Carolina country boy. Don't think he fit the Louisville mode.
I mean, you know.
But I think Cincinnati, he'll be just fine.
Yeah, because his meter is you know what meter I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's pretty much set to, focusing on the things that are most important, not all the other stuff that you have to deal with sometimes as a head coach.
That's right.
I say sometimes, all the time.
Yep.
And that fit for him, like you're talking about, I'm extremely excited for him because I really thought he was going to be done without this turnaround at Louisville. I don't
know that he wouldn't have been done anyway.
But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And yes, to your point, absolutely, even better. Yeah.
So I don't think this was a bad move on his side.
No, not at all.
Of course, the other big move was Dion. Primetime is going to the Buffaloes, Colorado, and he's hiring Kent State head coach Sean Lewis to be his offensive coordinator.
He's got an unlimited pocketbook.
Here's the deal. You may not think that the Buffaloes are a competitor in big-time football. They are now. You just go ahead and get ready.
Well, I think, too, is the time for him to go to Florida State is not now.
No.
So we're talking hundreds.
Next head coaching change at Florida State.
We're talking hundreds of millions of dollars when he goes to Florida State. We're not talking about, you're not talking about, over 8 years he's going to make $120 million. No, we're talking hundreds of millions, possibly close to $1 billion. There'll be $1 billion deal when he goes to Florida State.
Milton, good morning. Richie, good morning. Richie said he thinks that Baker's going to get claimed by the Niners today. Well, good luck with that. They're 6-5. It's not going to make any difference. He's going to finish out the season, and he'll have to compete with the kid that was drafted in the 6th or 7th round. Richie said from what he had seen, and this is where I'm coming from, he was a loss away from being fired earlier this year. Some of the big money people didn't like him. Yeah. And I don't know what you're wanting out of Louisville.
Well, I think too.
If you've got a solid winning record, a bowl game, what else you look for from Louisville?
Well,
to be honest, in football,
I think a lot of times, Lanny, what happens is elitism starts coming into play, where people are sitting around circling their brandy and having their cigar and saying, "Oh, I can't believe someone would act like this," or "I can't believe that they don't carry themselves a certain way. And a lot of times the stigma with being from the South is, there is people try to make a correlation. That's why so many comedians make fun of people that talk slower, is because they think, through ignorance, of course, that there's a direct correlation between the way you speak and your intelligence, which there's no correlation. You can always assimilate things, right, for simulation, but that's not true, and it can't be proven. And I think a lot of times, and I'm on this, I'm on this thing right now about people, not really focusing on things that are most important, but yet, going back to the old days of, everything's got to be proper and everything's got to be civil and everything. That's not the way that.
And you had Bobby Petrino.
That's not the way that's not, and that's kind of what I'm getting at. Okay, yeah. So when you.
But he won more in Satterfield, so that made it okay.
Scott hadn't been there 2 years. I mean, I don't know, man. I just think we're starting to see a swing in things now, and people not putting up with things as much because of status. They're putting up with things that are solid and substantive instead of stylistic. I
think he'll be fine. And to me,
he'll do a great job.
To me,
it's a great
I
fit.
think it's a pretty good honor from Scott's standpoint. To be the one hired to take over for Luke Fickell.
No,
let's be real.
Right. And it puts him in the
and that program's in much better shape than Louisville was when he got to it.
100%.
Yeah.
And Scott knows how to take over a program that's in good shape.
Juju and I talked about this last night.
I mean, it is what it is.
How about this? Would you rather recruit out of Kentucky or Ohio in football?
Bro, let me tell you something. Now he's got both.
I know, but I'd rather be recruiting out of Ohio. High school. Ohio high school football is pretty darn good.
Yeah, I mean, and think about it, is Ohio University, has good football. They're just not talked about a lot because it's overshadowed by, Ohio State and all these other schools that are right around. Yeah, good stuff.
I mean, the Zips from Akron.
Yeah,
Miami of Ohio. I mean, there's some other next tier programs that have been prominent on the national scene.
Well, think about next door neighbor Indiana. Obviously Purdue's doing something right. Indiana. That is really good. Good football area.
And I'd have to go back and look. I went to the first bowl game that Appalachian played. I was working with their radio crew some. That's where I got my bowl championship ring, the only one I have. And they either played. In that first game, their opponent was either the Zips or Miami of Ohio. One of those two schools was who Appalachian played in the very first bowl game that they went to, which was the Camellia Bowl, if I'm not mistaken, down in Montgomery. Anyway, Link said Satterfield didn't even have to move. I would think if I had the opportunity, knowing kind of what he was going through, I think it was a good move on his part. Richie said in about 2 years we'll be talking about Colorado and what they're doing on the field. And the biggest thing that I liked about what Deion said, undoubtedly he thinks there's some issues there player-wise, is he said, better put your name in the portal if you play for Colorado, because you're either going to do it my way or the highway. They say he runs a strict program.
He does.
Old school. Bobby Bowden, old school.
Well, he can because he has credibility.
Right.
In today's world, yes, there is a lot of style. And Deion talked about prime time is football. Baseball, he was Deion Sanders, and he signed everything Deion Sanders. In football, it was prime time, and there was a reason for that. It's not only marketing and things like that, but that is the attitude that he wanted to I guess –
that was the persona he wanted to put
just to put it out there and say, look, this is the attitude that I've got, and this is how I'm going to play, and it's going to be exciting, and people are going to like it. He's going to take that from where he was.
He's undefeated.
To where he's going, and it makes the Buffaloes relevant right now. I am shocked that he did this, but not really. I think about it.
I get frustrated, and I'm going to try not to get political here because that's not what I do. There were a lot of coaches on Deion's level that really didn't treat him right.
Yeah.
But Deion, when you can put it out on the field and do it right, you're just mad because it's not you. You're just jealous. It's not, and that's the part that bothered me. And I'm trying to remember the coach that kind of snubbed him. About 2 games ago.
The guy from Grambling?
Yeah, I believe it was at midfield. That was just wrong.
Yeah.
Milt said he read where Shanahan doesn't want Mayfield. I don't think anybody does, but that's beside the point. Brandon said others can claim him for nothing to keep him from the 49ers. Tactical moves for an NFL team to hurt an opponent, waiver wire, pick order. Yeah, I get that, but I don't see anybody standing in line.
You talking about for Mayfield?
Yeah, because he's a free agent. He's got to clear away.
Yeah, right. Now,
and I think that's why he asked for his release. He wasn't cut. He asked for his release.
And that was a good move.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, I would beg for somebody in my division to take him.
Mm-hmm.
I wish he'd go back to Cleveland, or I wish he'd go to like Cincinnati and go to like Baltimore.
Yeah. He's look. Who cares? My wife. Good morning, honey. Thanks for getting up today. She said their standards were real high. Look at that Paterno jerk. Well, honey, he had a motorcycle and a secretary. It's just one of those things that happen. That's all it was. Todd says Cincy is basically on the border, so he can recruit both. Yeah, he can.
Yeah.
My point is, Ohio, I think, has more football talent, potential big-time football talent than Kentucky does. Richie said Prime sold what was selling a product when people didn't realize he was a product, and that's correct. He was selling himself.
Yeah, which is a great
Link said
thing.
I was referring to his home in Cincinnati. It's just across the line. It's less than 100 miles from what I read.
Right.
Yeah. Lindsay said, Ford got dolled up for media mogul. Yeah. Yeah, he's – morning, Clint. Glad to have you. I guess I've got to upgrade my dressing standards.
No, you look fantastic.
It's okay. I'm not.
You got a great face for radio.
And in just a couple of months, I won't even wear pants. I'll wear shorts every day because I can.
Lorts.
That's who I am.
Lorts.
Let's see.
Hey, you know what? I forgot to tell you this. Remind you of this.
Uh-oh.
The trip is T-3 counting.
Andrew said, good morning from Disney World.
Hey, I will be there, brother, 2 days, me and you in the Animal Kingdom. I will be there Thursday morning, and I will see you there.
Good luck with that, Andrew.
Dude, we're going to – look, the Yeti will be conquered. We're going to Everest.
That's one of my favorite rides.
Dude, I'll ride it. Get in the single rider line. Garrick was just barely tall enough. He's like 8 behind me. I said, dude, you're on your own. Dad's got to go.
Love.
He's like, Dad, I'm
Everest.
fine. Go ahead. He's like 6. I got it. I'm good.
Love Everest.
Oh, that's what he does. Yeah. You know, when G was, like 3, he's on that thing. He told them people on that thing, he said, hands up. Put them hands up.
Right.
Dude, I tell you, we have a ball on that thing. I will be there, brother. You wait for me. Pandora's coming.
I'm a ride rider, except don't like round and rounds.
Oh, yeah.
I'm okay.
Now, what's funny is when we go to Animal Kingdom, Andrew and Robbie and I will stay in line. The kids are fine wherever they're at. I really don't care. They will stay in line, and we will get on Pandora's ride. And we get on Pandora's ride. I barely fit in that thing. So they say, sir, you need to get in there a little bit. This is all I got. Then they lock me in at the last minute. It's awesome.
Thanks, buddy. Okay, guys, give me just a second. We're actually going on live in Baltimore, so you may hear anything, just in case. That's the traffic. Richie, if you love Space Mountain, the new ride you will absolutely love that they're building, and I don't remember what it is. Tron. Yeah, they were running it in test.
Man, I'm hoping they'll let me be one of the test guys when I go.
And let me tell you another one that you'll love.
The new one at Epcot.
Guardians
of the Galaxy.
That's the most phenomenal ride I've ever ridden.
Okay, so Epcot actually, I say Epcot. Animal Kingdom and Epcot are one. There's no, to me, I can't decide. All right.
The latest sports news and your place to talk about it. Always. 105.7 The Fan.
8:15 in the AM, Baltimore's Big Bad Morning Show on The Fan. Ed Norris, Rob Long, and Jeremy Kahn joining us right now. Talking some college football, courtesy of the Ashley Furniture Guest Hotline. Our guy, Lanny. Good on Lanny.
Hey, guys, how you doing? Of course, I'm in the middle of my show, so I said, hey, I'll just we'll do this all live. I like it that way. And tell that guy that don't know how to talk to watch himself over there.
I tell you what, Lanny, man.
Yeah, start it up again. I done told you one time I'll leave the W out. It ain't nothing to me to whip a man's ass. I'll go ahead and tell you.
Hey, Lanny.
Yeah, man.
Lanny, now, before we get to the playoffs, I guess they finally heard you. DJ Lele is now into the transfer portal. I guess he read the writing on the wall.
Well, the thing of it is, and I told you, had he not been replaced, we wouldn't have won Saturday night. It's just that simple. And if there's anybody that didn't understand why he was pulled, he should have been pulled after Syracuse. He should have been playing before Notre Dame. There was a bye week. There was 2 weeks, and I think he was ready. I don't know what the reasoning was, but undoubtedly his contract expired at the championship game. They decided to go with somebody different.
Hey, Lanny, I want to ask you a quick question about the Final Four here. Were you at all shocked the way it stacked up, especially with TCU where they were after their loss? I mean, everybody kind of lost in the same weekend, so it was a bit of a shuffle there to figure out who was going to be in, but I was kind of shocked at the way it was stacked up.
Well, here's the deal. This is where the committee hides behind certain things that I don't really care for. And one of those is they were not going to take a team with 2 losses. So there were 5 teams that were undefeated or 1 loss, and they were going with the safe bet. That's why we got to get out of this 4-team thing. Now, I'll be honest with you, and with our current quarterback situation at Clemson, we could probably beat TCU. Now, does that put us a top 4 team? No, it doesn't, because we squandered away the rest of the season. However, I don't think that TCU's a top 4 team.
Me either, man. I said it before. I think this is Clemson's weakest team in 6 years, but it's still better than TCU in my opinion.
That's correct. I think so too. I don't understand what took so long, and of course, as soon as this happened and the portal opened yesterday, DJ went. Now, DJ can declare for the draft, but I don't see anybody standing in line for him. I'll be honest with you. I don't think he can read defenses. I think they've got a stripped-down playbook, kind of like what Cam had when he was in the NFL, because I think he struggles a little bit processing the defenses at the speed that he needs to. Not that he don't have the athletic capability. I just don't think he can process the speed of the game.
So if it wasn't TCU, and it would have to be a 2-loss team. So who would you like to see in there from the eye test?
Well, I don't know. Once you get past those first 3, it gets pretty muddied, in my opinion. Yeah. I mean, I think I'd rather seen Southern Cal than TCU, just to be honest with you. TCU had too many close calls.
Yeah. Lanny Ford joins us. Lanny, I told Jeremy, I think Michigan runs the table on this one. I think they're a hot football team right now, and the only team in the country, in my opinion, that can beat Georgia.
Well, and I'll be honest with you, I'm a dog fan. I have been. I didn't get recruited by Georgia. If I had, that would have been a close pick. I like Georgia. I loved Mark Richt when he was down there. But the whole thing about it is Georgia's going to be hard to put out, but I would love to see Harbaugh get a national championship. I'll just be honest with you. Not a Michigan fan. I'm just a Harbaugh fan.
Yeah, I think a lot of people in this town would too, because the brothers, obviously. What do you think about the expansion now? Like, if we're not happy with this with the 4-team, what's going to happen when it goes to 12 teams?
Well, I think you're going to have to rework some things, and I still think there's more conference realignment coming. I don't think you can have these big mega conferences and it works because you're having too many that are wild card entries. I would love to see it get down to some more conferences that are football only. I've said it before. If you were going to have 4, you can't find 40 teams in the nation that can compete for a national championship. That'd be 4 10-team leagues. Get out of playing anything below a Division I team, a Power 5 team, if you can help it, if you want to compete for a national championship. We've talked about it before, and the one thing that I think it will do when you expand the playoffs, I think it will even the field a little bit for some other schools, because right now your top-tier talent's only going to a handful of schools that they actually feel like can win a national championship.
Lenny, one of my favorite things during bowl season is I tell people that they're, guys that had vision or teams that had visions of being in that Final Four and don't make it, usually a letdown spot when they go to one of these, I hate calling it a half-ass bowl game, but, one that they really don't care about. And I think Bama's in that spot against Kansas State this year. Is there a bowl game or two that you look at that you really like, or you like the matchup, or something that you really look forward to during bowl season?
Well, it's so hard to do now because I think a lot of those top-tier teams and players are going to have players that opt out. They're not playing for anything. I mean, I'm excited for the Clemson and Tennessee game. I want to see that one. There's a few games out there, but you're not playing for anything. And once they started this playoff thing, by not expanding it, you started to take things out of it. I'll give you a great example. I hear people that talk about, well, I don't want to lose the bowl games because of the history, the tradition. You know, this is something that kids get to do. This is something they've earned. Okay, I've earned a trip to Boise in December to play on Smurf turf. Give me a break.
Okay, Lanny, having said that, Jackson Smith-Njigba, who was the wide receiver for Ohio State, who's playing in the football playoffs, opts out.
Well, and that's, you know, I have a problem with that. I mean, I don't have a problem with the kids that opt out that are done. But if I got a team, I'm not going to turn my back on a team that is competing for a national championship. I couldn't do that.
What do you think about what's going on in Colorado with the Prime?
We were talking about that earlier. In 2 years, you're going to be talking about Colorado and what it does on the field. You're gonna be mystified by the Buffaloes is all I can say, because what he's doing is he's bringing, I think, some respectability because of what he accomplished. And everything that I read, it's not flash, it's substance, it's real.
I'm just, and going back to this too, as we look at some of this stuff, I'm still curious why we didn't get Ohio State versus Michigan in that game. Michigan's a 7.5-point favorite over TCU, and then I look at the other side of it, Georgia. I think Ohio State, in my opinion, I think they're the only team that can beat Georgia. I just think offensively, maybe they can go tit for tat up and down the field and score with them. But what are your thoughts on why we didn't see the stacking of it? Why we didn't get Michigan and Ohio State number 2?
I think they're wanting to see that in a national final if they can get that, because they did not play for the Big Ten championship. You know, sometimes they do that. And here's the other thing, I guess, that really bothers me. I like things that have predetermined rules and requirements, because when you do the eye test, now we're starting to pick games based on eyeballs and money.
Yeah, I agree with you. To me, that made sense for Ohio State to be that number 14. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Hey, Lenny, one last thing. Why did they put Notre Dame against such a terrible team in their bowl game? Why do they have to face South Carolina? Shouldn't they have gotten a better opponent?
Well, everybody can't have a chicken Saturday, and so you need to be able, Notre Dame needs a little taste of them Gamecocks. And I'll be honest with you, Notre Dame might beat them. Rattler has a good day. I'm sorry, South Carolina might beat them if Rattler has a good day. I'm not impressed with Notre Dame, sorry. We should have never lost to them.
How did the Chickens do against your team?
They kicked our tail. What did I tell you? I told you when I was on here. Did I not tell you would win?
Just because you told me don't mean I won't rub it in.
I don't care if you rub it in. I deserve it.
That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I deserve it. And you need to, because it's going to be a long time before it happens again.
It don't matter. It don't matter.
Well,
Daddy, you are the man. Thanks a lot, my friend.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
See you, buddy.
See you guys. All right, we're going to take a time out, and we'll be back right here locally in just a moment.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver, or visit MooneyInsurance.com. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stifel Nicholas can assist you. Call Ford Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
And welcome back.
There's nothing exciting about watching that.
Oh, I know. We're talking about the national championship
playoffs. It's absolutely
playoffs.
absurd.
We were talking about it, and I didn't get into
absurd.
it. Thank you for working with me till I took that call. I love being on with Rob. Rob's a good friend. He's on the Fan 106.5 up in Baltimore, and those guys have a big time. And I'm honored when they call me and ask me if I'll come on and participate just a little bit with them. We were just talking about this. The committee went with the safety so that they didn't have to explain what they did. They only took 4 of the top 5. Okay, they wanted they weren't going with a 2-loss team,
which is ridiculous.
I agree.
Their job is to take the best 4 teams.
I agree.
Tennessee's quarterback is gone. They're not the number 6 team in the country, okay? They're not. Well, look what they've done all year. Look, December 6th, 3 years ago, is the same day as today, but it's a completely different circumstance and scenario, okay? It's apples and apples, not apples and oranges, and that's what they've done. This is terrible. I might have even watched this. It's awful. TCU is nothing but Cincinnati 2.0. Here it comes. We just got beat by Kansas State, but yet Kansas State's still 11, but they beat us, but we're 3. Now, I know they didn't put themselves there, but this makes absolutely no sense on any level at all. And the fact, now remember, I went to East Carolina, so I hate everybody, okay? But full disclosure here, Alabama loses on a field goal in the last second away, loses on the last play in double or triple overtime away, okay? Away. This makes no sense at all.
The committee doesn't look at the body of work. They take the records in consideration first, which is wrong.
That's unbelievable. I thought their job.
You know who East Carolina's playing in a bowl game?
Oh yeah, they're playing
it's Coastal. If I'm not mistaken, Coastal Carolina.
Yeah,
it'll be a good game.
Yeah, it will be.
Andrew said he can't wait till you get down here. He needs somebody to help keep the bull fed.
Me and Robbie can do that.
Lindsay said Guardians is my new favorite ride, though. Yes, it is. Yes. It is Space Mountain on steroids because it's in the dark.
It's incredible.
And I don't mind telling you, it's roller coaster, but the cars move and swivel.
Yes.
It's flipping awesome. It's flipping awesome. We rode Space Mountain too. Space Mountain's just old. That's the only thing about it.
You didn't do Avatar?
I don't do motion. I don't simulators.
So you sit on this thing.
I know.
Okay, yeah.
I don't like soaring.
Huh?
I don't like soaring. You know, where you're in the glider?
We'll be back in a few minutes.
I can't do motion simulators.
Oh, it's because
I get sick.
No, I understand, yeah. Now, soaring's a little that freaks me out a little bit.
You'll remember
cool.
You'll remember this. There used to be down at Concord Mills, there was a NASCAR speed park.
Yep.
And they had the NASCAR simulators where you got in this box and the car moved and everything.
Right.
Made me sick as
you
a dog.
Didn't do Mission Space.
Oh, I hate Mission Space.
Okay.
Body Wars. No,
Yeah,
I can't.
you know what I'm
do
talking about
that.
down Disney Mission Space.
I can't do those. No.
Okay, I got you. I got you. Hey, man, look.
Yeah, I'm
it's
okay.
all good.
Tron, when you come out of, if I'm not mistaken, when you come out of Space Mountain, if you go to Space Mountain, it's off to the left. Tron is, and part of it's outside and part of it's inside,
right.
And you could see them running it, and it's basically a roller coaster that you're on like a bicycle.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken,
right,
but it looked awesome. It looked awesome.
Yeah.
Andrew's going to Epcot today. I got to tell this story, and I may have told it when we came back. You know, we were at Epcot. We did the World Showcase, and we stopped at a Japanese place to get some food.
Mm-hmm.
There was some folks from the UK that were ordering when I did. Addison loves the UK, so we talked to him, and we spent some time. And then we walked away, and when you go by the little amphitheater, Kenny G, the real Kenny G, was playing a concert. And my wife absolutely fell apart because she saw Kenny G live. Kenny G.
She's giving you all the signals.
What's the signals? Kenny G played at our wedding. God. I do know that. Thank you, honey. He played at our wedding, but it was recorded. Jerry Duckworth, good morning to you, sir. Richie says DJ doesn't step into his throws.
Okay.
They were quick screen passes. He doesn't step into the throw. He plants both feet, and both passes were off the mark.
I would not either based on what he's been through. Now Richie's correct, but let me shed some thoughts on that. And, of course, you know, Richie's 100% right. What DJ's been through the last 2 years, I would not wish on anyone.
Mm-hmm.
There was way too much inconsistency. He had to deal with a brand-new coordinator that absolutely may be debatable whether or not they were ready for that, okay, and how to coordinate the pieces. All right, you got a head coach that does a really good job with player personnel and loving the players and making it, holding everybody accountable. But at the same time, when you wear a lot of hats, you can either be the master of of one, or just
you can be the master of disaster or just the master.
Well, so
or just a disaster
have to be fixed there. And when the younger kid comes in, he hasn't already been through these things, so he doesn't know what to watch out for. So he can just go in and play freely. Okay, but Richie's right. DJ, they tried to make him a run-pass player when he is a pocket passer.
Right, that's right.
He is the number one. That's why I think
But Clemson's never done a pocket pass.
No, I understand. But they recruited him and tried to turn him into something that
can't do
not.
that.
I agree with you.
You can't do that.
So I think in DJ's best interest, now he'll never do this, but in his best interest, he should transfer to Southern Cal.
Yes,
because Alabama
to a quarterback question.
Alabama has never really had, other than maybe one or two quarterbacks that have really made a big deal in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Guess in the last 30 games, Hurts is 15-2. Okay, no, that's not right. 30 games. Hold on. The last 33 or 34 games, Hurts is now 15-2, and Tua is 14-3 as a starter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my point is to that is when Hurts went to Lincoln Riley, it changed him from being a semi-dual threat to a true passer. My point to this is DJ needs to get back to his roots and where he is. Don't worry about playing right now. Worry about the process of getting better, getting in that system.
Okay, let me ask you a question since Andrew's out here, and I know he'll talk to Dabo tonight and tell him what I said. So do you hang this one on Dabo for trying to outthink himself in that he could make DJ into something he wasn't?
Nope. I think they had a commitment of whatever kind.
No. I'm talking about when they recruited him. Trying to change what he was as a player with his skill set.
Well, I think they just saw he's a great athlete. And we can do what we need to do with him because we know he can throw it. Look how athletic and big he is. He's a fullback throwing the football.
Yeah.
And again, that's just an opinion. I don't know that.
Yeah.
But
Andrew, get back to us tomorrow after you talk about it.
You know, it's one of those things, Laney, that make it kind of fits what the narrative was. For him,
I mean, I get it. I get it. I just, I don't think that's fair to the kid. And we've talked about it before. And I always go back to it.
But he's been
at LinkedIn
compensated for his fairness.
And Scott Cloninger, LinkedIn they'd throw the whole playbook and everything out if they didn't have the kids to run it, because it was easier to change the scheme than to try to change the athletes. In a short window like you got in high school football.
Completely agree. And I think that, but we got to remember, today's world, the players are heavily compensated to try to take on the narrative of what is being pushed as the program leader. Okay, now I'm not saying the narrative's wrong. I'm saying whatever that is. And so, I still think that your best championship style players, all right, are guys that can go under center and having a tight end in the offense. I believe that on every level. I from what I've seen, spread offenses are great, but when you have equally or better matches on the other side of the football, the creativity that's supposedly there, what it does, it just makes it a matchup. So you got to get back to playing football.
I think you have to be able to do both.
I think you have to be able to play football
because
first.
Nothing worries me and nothing that I dislike more than to be on the 2-yard line and you got to start from 7 yards deep.
Yeah, well, no, and I don't disagree with that, but I think you have to be a football player first, that you can't reinvent the style of the game without the substance being at the forefront, okay? And I think it's true with anything in life. Now, does that make people bad or wrong if they want to do things and not, go under center? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, but just as an observation, that's what I have seen. And I've seen all the way down to the Pee Wee level now, all the way through high school and college and pro football. And, I just think that, having the extra guy on the line, and eventually, I just see it paying more dividends than having downside if you're looking to take the next step, okay, and not just obtain, but obtain success and greatness.
The other thing that you cannot do,
and you see that with Georgia and with Michigan, because they don't have a running quarterback. TCU's guy is a running quarterback, but he nearly died the other night. He's going to die running like that, okay, and I don't mean dead, but I mean – he's going to get hit hard. And then, of course, Ohio State, that kid stays in the pocket and throws the football. He can run. But you see what I'm getting at? This, when you have equally talented people on the other side of the ball, which is what you got in the SEC, that's why this whole thing with Alabama not getting in is ridiculous. You put TCU in the SEC, they're done. You put Michigan in there, they may be a top –
TCU won't finish in the top 6.
And that's what I'm saying. And then you put Michigan in the SEC – okay, and they don't make it through. All right, and again,
well, the proof in the pudding. Here's what the proof in the pudding will be: if Michigan can win it, and they beat Georgia to do it,
sure.
Then
they play a close game with Georgia, Lanny.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. Yeah. And I hope that what I'm saying is not true. But until somebody does that, it's very true.
Yeah. No,
it's very true.
No.
And it just bothers me that it's indicative of today's society to hide behind a committee instead of someone stepping up and saying, okay, look, these are the reasons that we did this. All right?
Nobody wants to explain why they do something.
No.
Yeah.
They all want to hide behind committee or change the rules or change the narrative instead of what the focus is. The focus is to put the best 4 teams into the college playoff and let them battle it out. I don't care if let me ask you this. All right, let's say that Alabama had 4 losses, but they didn't have their starting quarterback back until the third, like 3 games to go in the season. All right, and then they started blowing people out, and you're like, oh my God, nobody's going to beat them. But they've got 4 losses or 5, so we can't put them in. The job is to put the best 4 teams in
at that point in time.
I completely agree. They didn't do that. Why is Tennessee at 6? Well, they couldn't finish in the top 20. Right now, they can't. They're decimated
with no quarterback.
The chickens. Look at what South Carolina's done. Clemson had they beat Notre Dame, obviously would have ended up beating South Carolina. But Clemson shot themselves in the foot. They should be in the national championship if you're going to go by the straight numbers, because they had 2 non-conference losses, right? I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, that's where, and I think here's what's
Really
going to happen. I think here's what's going to happen. When they go to the playoffs, and I don't think they put all the requirements or how it's going to be structured, but I think your 5 Power 5 conference champions automatically are in. So Clemson would have got in as the ACC championship.
Yeah.
And then let them argue over the wild card stuff.
See, I don't know if that's appropriate or not, because now Kansas State would be in.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I mean, I don't know if that's appropriate or not.
Well, they got to get away from the championship games, the conference championship games. I like everybody playing everybody.
If they're relevant, then yeah.
Yeah, and I think they are.
And my question is, are they?
Yeah. Let me couple NFL things. The Bucks beat the Saints last night 17-16. They're 6-6, and they are in the lead in the NFC South.
They're going to get beat by San Francisco in the NFC Championship game.
That's what you think?
Yes. But I'm going to tell you, they're dysfunctional at the beginning of the year because they like everybody else, new head coach, new players. You know, Brady went through what he's going through, but things will only improve from the things he's going through personally. And remember, this guy's handled himself as a professional.
Yep.
He's never lost his cool in front of a camera. All right. He's always been who he is. All right. He's never been disrespectful to any coach. You know, Belichick, you know, the great thing about him playing in New England is he understood that feelings don't matter. It's show up every day, do your job, be consistent, all right, and be accountable. Those are the two things, accountability and consistency, that are gone in the portal. Talking about switching right quick to college football, that is what's killing college football. I think everyone should have a choice, because what's happened is the portal opened because coaching has got so bad.
Now, I don't know if you saw last night, Juju explained it last night. Now they've got windows. It's not just something that happens all the time. It opened yesterday. It opens on the 5th to mid-January.
Yeah, sure.
And then there's another one at the end of the season. But at least there's a little bit of reining in there. But I agree. I don't care for the portal. I really don't.
I think you should have one. I don't think you should even have one. I think once you make a commitment, now I do think they need to put stuff in there that if the head coach that recruited you leaves, then you're immediately eligible, because that's
correct.
People say, it should be about academics first. No, it's not. Okay, let's just throw that out.
These are not student
athletes
on the big time programs. This is athletic students.
No. It is what it is. So let's stop behind the educational narrative that makes everybody feel good and just repeating what they've heard the last 50 years. We are a different world. We're the information technology age. We are not in the industrial production age. It's not necessarily about where you go and what you obtain with that. It's how you put the information that you gather and learn to use in today's world. Okay, so we need to just throw that out the window and get what's real. Okay. All right, we can hide behind what makes us feel good. Well, that education's so important, because you got to get Okay. Thanks. Moving on.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Couple updates in the NFL. 2 teams have been mathematically eliminated. One from the NFC, one from the AFC. The Chicago Bears are eliminated, and the Texans are eliminated.
Not shocked.
Both
dysfunctional.
The Packers are 5-8. They're very close to being eliminated, because they've played 13 games. They only have 4 left, and there would have to be a whole lot of pieces fall into place.
Let me tell you who can win games but won't be able to do playoff stuff is Minnesota. Kirk Cousins is really, really good, but what they've got around him, not him, I'm talking about just around the body of work in general. From what I see from them, I don't believe that they are a playoff contender. I think they'll obviously be there because of their record, but it's going to be like the Steelers when they were 11-0 and then went 11-5 and then got blown out by Cincinnati a couple years ago, right? It's that same kind of makeup that I'm seeing with them. Now, does that make them bad people? No. Does it make them wrong? No. It makes it is what it is.
A lot of it got to do with these younger, really inexperienced head coaches that are out there.
I don't know.
Because they haven't been through that.
Right. And I don't know if that's as much it, Laney, as just when we talk about the inexperience, it may not be able to get the pieces together, at the right time to make a championship run. It's easy to manipulate a game, but it's not easy to manipulate playoff games. And the reason I say that is because the competition obviously is elevated, right? And so the things you can manipulate against other teams is not necessarily present against playoff teams.
But it's, when you look at the NFL, and especially, and I don't follow it, so I'm really talking out of school here. The NBA playoffs are the same way. It's a whole different game.
NBA.
Yeah, that basketball thing above college that they play sometimes. The NBA playoffs are totally different in how they're approached versus the regular season. I think the NFL is the same way, and I think even March Madness is the same way. You've got to approach it differently.
It's more of a marketing tool than it is,
But I mean, for the kids and the way that you coach it.
All kidding aside, I agree with that 100%. And it's really hard in things as they evolve and change, and the world and all this stuff, especially in the world of sports. As much as at times we believe that, we'd love to see this changed or that changed, the one thing you can never get away from is being a player of the sport that you're playing. You can, as much as you want, and I'm using third person, not Lanny, of course, as much as you want football to be a more athletic, a more this, that, it's still a grind. You still have to be a football player first, right? I kept reminding our kids when we played at Reidsville a couple of weeks ago, they were a phenomenal football team. Very talented on both sides of the ball, very big up front. First play of the game, they made a great interception, ran it back up 6-0. It was 19-0 at the end of the third quarter. Okay? Our kids were holding on. They had we kept trading possessions, 3 and out, 4 and out, 5 and out, those kind of things. And I kept reminding our kids, look, you've got to keep grinding. I didn't talk about being more athletic than they are. I said, you've got to keep grinding. And they did a phenomenal job.
Got to want it more.
Of doing their job. And what I'm seeing is there's a lot of manipulation in things that you do. But when it comes time to, championship style play, it's not so much about the manipulation is about the will versus the skill.
Yeah.
And, I believe that was true for, and I believe it's true for most, championship style teams. I just remember my maiden team in '99 in baseball. We were in a conference. We went from the SD7 and finishing dead last in that to going to the Southern Piedmont 1A, 2A. And us and Cherville were the 1As. And then you had Chase, Bessemer City, Lincoln, West Lincoln, and somebody else.
Not been East Lincoln?
No. It was Chase, Bessemer City, West Lincoln, and Shelby were the 2A teams. Very good. My point is very good base. So what we had to do is we had to up our level of play through how hard we trained and know that if we outworked everybody else, that the grit and determination could overcome maybe some of the other teams' athleticisms and talents, right? We had to want it more. So when we got through our conference play and we were able to do that, because Cherville and Bessemer City, all of them were very, very good. I mean, there was 3 Major League Baseball players or 3 pro guys in that first season we were in. The Coffey kid that played, Todd Coffey, that played for Cincinnati, that played with Norris Hopper, that played at Shelby. They played at Cincinnati together on the big league team. And then Ralph Roberts, who may be the greatest player ever come out of this area, all right, from a holistic standpoint, who he didn't make it to majors, but he was probably the most talented baseball player that we can all think about from years ago, right? And a great guy, too. He's such a good guy.
Oh, yeah.
But, and my point to all this is, when you get to that style and that level, you have to rely on grit and determination and fight, because athleticism is what it is. You can't control how athletic somebody else is, but you can impose their will on. You can impose your will on them.
One of the things that I think people kind of sell a little bit short when it comes, and it's because of it's the way they've looked at it. There's a lot more to the cerebral, mental side of athletics than people want to give credit.
Yes.
Because
it's 80-20.
The mind,
right.
the mind is what wheels you through certain things in the things that you do. So you can't sell that short. Catch a couple comments. Rich said you have some coaches that are going to try to make a player fit the system, whether or not the player fit or not. They don't adapt.
That's right.
Milt said Alabama would have lost to Texas if the officials
knew the rules.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Tim Smith, good morning to you, sir. Stacy said, did you see Mason Avery be playing in the Shrine Bowl?
No,
I had not saw that. I didn't know those had been announced. Link said, and cheat and get away with it. He's talking about New England, I think. He's
Oh.
always talking about New England.
No, he's
People-
not. Hey,
people-
I get it.
Todd says, people disagree with this, but I still say championship games should matter. Must win it to get into the playoffs, settle it on the field. I absolutely can't stand the eye test. I never have. I never have.
See-
Of all the things, and I've said this before, the BCS was not a bad system if they had left it to the computer.
No,
when
that's
they
right.
put the eye test in there is
Right.
when they screwed it all up.
Well, Laney, too.
Numbers don't lie.
No, they don't. And what we're doing is we're discounting. And again, I agree 100% with what Todd's saying. I believe that, regardless of whether you have an injury or not, okay, it's about your sustainability and your team's sustainability success throughout the season. That's not what the current format is about.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be about the best 4 teams. Now, Todd, in my opinion, is 100% right, okay, because nobody can argue with the results on the field, right? They can argue like we're doing today. I will never back down from Bama being one of the top 4 teams in the country. I don't care if they got 2 losses. I don't care if they got 8.
Yeah.
Right now, they're one of the best.
If they
4
put their
teams.
same team
Ohio
from the
State-
beginning to the end on the field.
Ohio State is not better than Alabama. TCU is not better than Alabama. I don't know if Michigan is, because Michigan doesn't have the grueling schedule to go through that not Georgia, but Alabama has, because the SEC West is what it is.
Yeah. No.
I
agree.
But to Todd's point, and to what you like, all right, which is what I like, settling on the field.
Yeah.
If you got injured, I'm sorry. We wish you the best. We want you to heal up, but this is what it is.
That's right. Richie said, I'm fine with one transfer. After that, you either stick it out or you sit out or you try to transfer again, second transfer. I'm okay with that, too. I don't want more than one.
I want it reversed. I want you to transfer, but you got to sit out, because I want your initial commitment to be thought through and mattered. And then after that, you can go wherever you want to, whenever you want to.
Yeah. Bob says the portal is as bad as the one and done in basketball. I've never liked the one and done. Mark Alton, good morning to you. Best sports talk show on the East Coast. It is the best one that originates out of Maiden. I'll tell you that right
Thank
now.
you, Mark. I love you, brother.
Yeah. Congratulations, Brian said. Good to see you this morning, Brian. Congratulations to Mason Avery on being selected to represent West Lincoln in the Shrine Bowl.
Great player. Good kid,
and
too.
yeah,
Really
he is.
fine.
He is a good kid.
Really fine young
I played
man.
with his grandpa and I coached his daddy. So
They do a great job.
I know them. Let's see. Green Bay says it wants Rodgers back next season.
Yeah, they
I don't
can't.
think anybody takes up the $58 million that's going to be owed on his contract.
Well, the other thing, too, is why would you want anybody else but him? You have no shot of winning without him, especially.
So where's the
decimated-
problem?
Wow.
in Green
How
Bay?
much time we got?
You got 2 minutes. You're on the clock.
I'll give you 30 seconds.
Okay.
Ownership's an issue because
There
we
is no
don't-
ownership.
That's okay. Number one.
But I'm an owner. I got my one share of
then,
stock.
Damn it, do your job.
Well, I did, but they
I'm
didn't
kidding.
listen
No,
to me.
Right. I'm kidding. All right, but that's an issue.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You have a lot of internal chaos and turmoil based on things that were said that were going to be done that weren't done.
Mm-hmm.
They traded away their best receiver. Yes, another kid has stepped up, but that's what naturally happens when things are levelized. Someone has to step up. All right, it doesn't mean that it makes them great. It just means that it makes them show.
But I'm going to ask you an
there's
honest
issues.
question right here.
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to ask you an honest question.
Sure, I'll give you an honest answer every time.
Could you, as a coach, work with Aaron Rodgers' attitude?
Absolutely. Because if not, I'd cut his ass.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Well,
I would
okay.
have him
All right.
come to let me tell you something. When it comes to me, okay, you ask me, when it comes to me, there is no
But that's
there
the
is no-
problem. The
I know.
coach doesn't have that kind of
Okay, then
authority and
then
power.
we said, what's the problem?
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Because and people, and Link, don't disagree with Link about any of the things that he says about New England, but there is no doubt who is in charge.
yes, yeah.
There is doubt of who's in charge in a lot of our
Well,
teams.
some places you can have too many bosses. Green Bay doesn't have any. They don't really have anybody they answer to that can.
I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm watching, Brett Favre all these years, and all the things that he did, I'm watching Aaron Rodgers all these years, all the things that he's done, but yet they always want somebody else. Let me tell you something. I'm going to put a trivia question out there for you that's 100% opinionated, okay?
Mm-hmm.
How much worse off would the Cleveland Browns be or have been the last, 12, 15 years if they would have taken Tim Tebow as their quarterback? Would the results have been any different until recently? So my point is, maybe people should start focusing on the substance of what is there and the leadership and capabilities. Otherwise, Cooper Kupp never makes it to college football, right? Otherwise, probably the best athlete, arguably, to ever go through Clemson, 2 sports, is who? He's a receiver about this tall. Played a couple years ago. Plays for the Raiders now.
Hunter?
Yeah.
Renfro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Possibly the greatest 2-sport athlete to ever go through there.
And he was a walk-on, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Why was he a walk-on? Because he could walk under this table.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, he doesn't fit the mold.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got to tell you, I doubt a guy like Hunter Renfro.
He's cashing big checks.
Cracking necks and cashing checks.
He's cashing big checks.
I don't know.
One entertainment story before we leave, sad news. Kirstie Alley passed away yesterday, and I didn't know she'd been sick. They said it was just recently discovered. Colon cancer. She passed away from cancer. Her 2 children's name are True and Lily. And True is her son, but Kirstie Alley has passed away at the age of 71. Yeah. She has stayed in the spotlight, whether she wanted to or not. But thoughts and prayers out to that family. Mark said, "Imagine how good Aaron Rodgers could be if he could have just sewn in Tom Brady's brain,
or if he'd have played at New England."
Yeah. He couldn't have played at New England.
No. I think he could have because no. If you go back and look at his history and the way that he has obtained the things he's obtained, it is when he was younger. It was through authoritative, not authoritarian, authoritative type style coaching.
The other thing that's hurt in Green Bay is, and here again, the difference in him and Tommy. Aaron wants all the money. Hard to pay top receivers to come in there with him taking up
discount double check, baby.
I know, but he's not giving anybody a double check. Richie said, or if he would just focus on football. And Mark said he can't. He's too busy eating mushrooms and admiring himself.
Oh, do you know what mushrooms do?
And that haircut.
Yeah,
I don't know what's up with that.
It's incredible. It's about as good as Brady's bowl cut years ago. But mushrooms actually help with cognitive enhancement.
Yeah, there you go. Cognitive enhancement. Have a great day, everybody. I'll be back again tomorrow. We'll see you then. Stay dry if you can.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt.